All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And I'm happy to do roll call since Courtney will not be able to make it tonight. Trustee Shaul. Here. Trustee Sobolak.
Here.
Trustee Reidy.
Here.
Trustee Kearney.
Here.
I am also here. Okay, we'll go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. So are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda as it stands? Hearing none, we'll move to any members of the public to address the board. I don't see any here present. Doesn't seem like anyone is on the Zoom call either. Okay. So we will move right into the consent agenda. So we have 3 meeting minutes. We have the last 2 committees of the whole, which is February and March, as well as the regular board meeting minutes for January 20th. As you recall, we did not have a board meeting in February, only the committee of the whole. Those are in your packet starting on page 3 of the PDF.
When we look to approve these as a group, I was only present for one, not all 3.
That's okay.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Also move to approve the 3 sets of minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda passes. Moving right along, the director updates. So we haven't done this since January, so thank you for the comprehensive director's report. Natalie, is there anything in particular you wanted to highlight or narrate over us?
So I am very excited about the fact that we are in the process of switching over. We have started the process of switching over from CVI to Outsource Solutions Group, which is in Naperville. It sounds like it'd be far away, but it's not. It's in Naperville. I have worked with them before. They are a wonderful group. They're very responsive. They have handled, I think they're handling 30 or 40 libraries right now, and it continues to expand and grow all the time. So we are slowly but surely working on that. And do you have a question? No. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something.
It was supposed to mean, so that was the recommendation of our interim director as well, was to go to Outsource Solutions. We were mid-contract with CVI, and that had posed a challenge when he was here. Was that an issue?
We're in process. Like I said, there will be a 2-week overlap gap. So right now, Outsource is just doing all their preliminary work. They will actually start working 2 weeks before the contract with CVI ends. And then they do not lock people into a contract because, as they put it, and as everyone else has put it, if you want to leave, they probably don't want you as a customer. So that's nice. And that's fantastic. We are looking forward to very much working with them. And people have been working. We're working really hard on the summer reading things at the moment. So that's a focus, trying to get all of that planned out and set, and how much can we collaborate in the 250th anniversary into what we're doing and things like that. So that's been a huge priority for us. If you look around, you can see over here, you see 2 of them, the new ADA compliant plaques. That was part of the ADA grant. So those were installed in January. We have quotes for the new railings for the exterior of the building, and we will be starting on those very shortly. So I'm very excited about that. We will be finishing that up, hopefully in the spring when they can actually get to some of these things and it's not going to snow.
And the exterior railings were necessary, even if we weren't going to be doing any updates or anything like that throughout the facility.
They are.
We just did do it.
They-
Probably.
yes.
Okay.
So a lot of them, actually pretty much all of them are not in compliance with ADA. None of the interior railings are. But we don't have enough money to do all of the railings right now. So we're breaking it up into exterior and interior. We're hoping to do the interior within the next couple of years. So we got that figured out. The problem with the interior railings is some of them have a height issue. They're not the correct height, and all of them, the bars are too far apart, so a kid can get their head stuck in them. The exterior, we're actually missing a number of railings that we should have, and the railings that we do have are not in compliance.
And from what I understood from Darren's presentation, should we do any interior work, it would trigger things like
Right.
the interior railings would have to happen at the same time. So,
So that's why we're starting with the
Yeah.
exterior. I had Darren look over the quotes. He had volunteered to look over the quotes and make sure everything made sense, and the prices were within the realm that he would expect them to be, and he very much approved. So it was nice.
Can you just share with us, remind us which exterior railings we're talking about?
So we're looking at the railings for the staff entry over here. The old entry.
Yeah.
Over here, which is missing, it has no railings, or it has the railings going down the stairs, but only on one side, not on the center. And it has no railings going straight out. And then the railings by the entry door going around. There are no railings around the ramp, but there are also no requirements that we have railings around the ramp. So that's not included. The railings there's one railing that goes down the 2 steps into the little reading garden area. That one is also there.
The museum side.
No. Primarily, I talked to Darren about that when we were looking at that. That stair pan is completely rusted out. So there's not really any point to replacing the railing when the entire stair has to be ripped out. I didn't even ask them to quote that. I really didn't.
and that's for the door that they don't access.
In the emergency door.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, that whole thing will have to be ripped out and redone. And at the same time, when you're looking at that, when you look at Darren's presentation, things, the landing pad, I guess, the area that you come out on isn't large enough to fit ADA requirements. So it's probably going to have to be expanded, and the stairs have to be redone at the same time. So
And then in the report, you mentioned the automatic door openers. Is that complete? We're at the middle of.
those are complete. Those are all done. Very excited about that too. Thank you. I forgot about that one. It's been one thing after another. So we did the 2 bathrooms on the main floor as part of trying to make our bathrooms more compliant. They're not fully compliant, but they're more compliant. And the museum entry door, which was written into the grant specifically. So that one, it mirrors our entry door. So those are both set, and we are thrilled. They will not be turning the ones on for the bathrooms until we replace the door hardware. The door hardware that we have for those bathrooms is not compatible with the door openers. So they have a new door hardware that's already on order. It should be here in the next couple weeks.
or something related to parking for this project. I just.
They have something underneath the building for that
I think
project.
That's what it is, but it was, oh, is it like a variance to like get the underground parking?
It could be, they're trying to. The village has zoning and development plans. I don't think it affects the spaces directly in front of us.
The landscaping thing that they're
Yeah.
doing down there, it will not, it doesn't come in this far.
Yeah, I think it affects this, the closer to the park and the gazebo
Oh,
is phase 2.
modifications to the, this is called block 1, right?
Block
no.
one is one closer. to
Oh,
the
That's the one that's already been done.
Right, it's reversing them.
It's one like between the train station and Bonza, 2 is the post office, 2 where
Yeah.
3 would be where the.
Luckington's are complete, and then 3 I think is us. And
so
Because
this,
the other thing that's still on the cards for us is they're doing the one building. And then there's the land next door and they want to develop that too. So
this says 4 to 24 East Scranton. That would be that, right? Across the street.
4 to 24 would
That's
be near the.
Oh.
Station,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
2, 3.
Okay.
I believe it's a different developer that has the other lot. Okay.
yeah, they're going through their own rigmarole. The other question I have is, it looks like a lot of books came through. So it's like, are we starting, is that like unclogged the hole or?
Slowly but surely. So Ingram is getting faster. We are getting materials in quicker. We have onboarded, we have started ordering through a couple of other vendors slowly. The problem that we have is most of the vendors don't offer book processing. So they don't put the covers on, they don't do the stickers, they don't do any of those things. That takes a lot of time.
You mentioned that, I forgot.
Mhm. I mean, it's one of those things that you never really think about, but it's like wrapping Christmas presents, right? It's a lot of time. But it works and it looks nice,
Yeah.
but it's a long time. So Ingram is still our go-to for the vast majority, but slowly but surely we're expanding. I think ALA will help with that a lot because we'll have that exposure to all of the different vendors who are doing things. And everyone who is trying to fill Baker and Taylor's spot will be there, which is nice.
Natalie, can you talk a little bit about the two grants mentioned in your report? The first one, the state construction grant.
That's the asbestos remediation grant. We're on hold and waiting until they believe May. They should have signature forms and it should be fully approved and finished.
Also, did get the preliminary approval on.
Everything preliminary approval is approved, which is what.
It's the yellow light.
Yes.
And that's ALA 88 grant and the proximity to North Chicago.
So the ALA this was the 4th round. I've been a grant reviewer for all 4 rounds. They had a grant for either 10 or 20,000 for small and or rural libraries to do ADA updates to your building. And it was capital. It was wonderful, right? That's perfect. But you had to be at least 10 miles away from somebody who had a population of, why do I want to say, I'd have to look at it again, but I think it was 30,000 people or more. So I'm thinking of everybody around us and checking everybody. And I did not think of North Chicago. And it came back that that's what disqualified us.
So you had to be maybe both small and rural away. Like
Ish. You had to be far enough away, right? So unfortunately, we had wonderful reviews back from our reviewers. I asked for those comments. We got wonderful comments back. They were all approvals, but that's what disqualified us. I was very
unfortunate.
I was very sad about that one. I was very excited that we didn't have a chance. Any other questions I can answer?
If there are no other questions on the monthly report or statistics report, we'll move forward. I just want to make sure trustees.
There's only one statistics. I didn't do a separate one for January since all of that data is in the same report.
Like the heat maps. Duplicate, so. See, Joe and I both like hard copies. So. If it's almost a full duplicate, February comes in as a new at the very, very end.
Certainly, the center has been moved over the front door, so we should see some changes in the data we'll have full building usage now. It has taken them a few months it took us a while to get the electricians out to move the electrical there, and then it took them a little while to get some of their engineers over here to do the installation. But it is up and running.
So Natalie, if you look
Yes.
comments on the data key, which is super helpful where it talks about, sensor, the sensor came back on and had Gus walk. So
Yep.
we'll just note that for whenever the sensor got moved, and you don't have to keep your hash marks anymore.
That is so nice.
Any other comments or questions on statistics? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead to the financial reports for the January, February 2026 revenue and expenditure report. So that's, if you're looking electronically, there's a hard copy here for formatting to make it a little easier to read.
Here's at the very end. I had printed out your packet and then I printed out an extra copy of this, so it's at the very, very end for you. That, yep,
This is.
yes,
Yeah, this is year to date spend, is that what
Yes.
this is?
yep. And you'll see both January and then the second section is February.
Check, we got February.
I did print both January and February because it's nice to see what was spent.
So then. This is not abuse.
That,
Because I
that's the check detail. That's fine, but the,
no, it's label MRF.
okay.
I think that was the initial one that was in the PDF. The formatting is a little funky converting to PDF. So Natalie printed the hard copy, not that first one you had.
Yeah, well,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's
it
what
looks like maybe this is a spreadsheet and this is a PDF or something, I don't know.
Well, they're both spreadsheets, but one didn't convert the way it was supposed to, so,
Grid lines are good,
yes.
I love this some grid lines.
I think generally in line with what we'd expect this point in the fiscal year, with 85% spent and 6 weeks left.
Yes, this is through February. 2 months left.
Yes,
Last
you have March,
over 12.
right, we have 6 actual weeks right now. You have 2 months worth of reports, yes. The end of the year is coming very quickly. We are working on, we have put together a list. I believe Rachel and Eliza had put together a list of when you stop spending on various things to make sure that our invoices come in prior to the end of the year. So we can make sure those all get booked to the right fiscal year. But right now we're in good shape. We are over in a few categories. We are under in a few categories. It is going well.
And I
Yeah,
think
I mean, you have like what, a 1% variance or something that's,
I feel like we talked about this, but the FICA tax that was
Is part of payroll that is pulled out for whatever reason. They haven't been able to. I guess they don't generally separate out the employer and the employee.
Okay.
So what we budgeted for
Yeah.
was the employer, not the employee.
Oh, I see. So that's both together, and
Yes.
that's why it's. And no surprise, maintenance building
Yeah.
is over.
That was very much anticipated.
Yes. Might make sure that is that working?
Yeah.
Can everyone hear that? Okay, make sure.
Are you gonna be under on the collection? It looks like,
Slightly, but not that much. So a number of things have come available recently. So we have seen additional ordering, and you'll see that reflected in the next 2 months.
do you book it when you take delivery or when you order it?
As soon as they send us the actual invoice, we have to wait until the invoice comes through. So generally on delivery.
And with Baker and Taylor and all that rigmarole of suppliers exiting and new suppliers trying to enter, I'm not surprised that there's a little hiccup in spending. The e-collections was up month, I think both month over month in February last year to February this year.
So that brings us to House Bill 5236 that I had sent you all. I know I should send that how-to everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't. I put down all of the steps exactly how to get to adding your name for Kathleen, because she had mentioned that it is very difficult to figure out how to get into that.
Like using the link. And then I just Googled it, and it got me somewhere. And then there's a place where you click, but then it says, boing, something's wrong. So I haven't tried your instructions yet, but they work for you. So
Let me
then,
know.
I will.
And then if they work for you, I'll send them out to
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah, please do. I tried using the link that is in it, and then Allie knows.
I will say, you submitted many of it.
I couldn't figure it out either, and
I couldn't even get to the
bookmark I had
Yeah,
didn't work.
Yeah.
It went, boing,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
that's exactly.
I think they have a new system, and it seems that, I mean, the instructions that they sent out, I didn't even look at them before I sent them to you guys. I just did it, and they were terrible.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. But I will send you out the instructions as long as do you mind trying it out for me?
No,
Wonderful.
I'm good at being a guinea pig.
Fantastic. Then as soon as you give me the green light, I will send that out to everyone else. And it's just literally step by step, click on this, click on this, click on that. So hopefully that will help everyone. But that is the bill that hopefully will help leading us to the right track on e-material spend.
What's the short version of what it's intended to do?
The goal is to try to make sure that e-vendors are not gouging libraries.
Due
Really.
to the current circumstance in which they find themselves, essentially.
And this is a state of Illinois thing that we're doing, but it is very much similar or the same as the state of Connecticut.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So I take it then that ALA has put its weight behind this in terms of its legislative. Is there a lobbying arm to ALA as well? And they're doing what they can.
So Connecticut passed this last year, but it was passed with a caveat that a larger state had to pass the same law. So that there was more than just Connecticut doing this, right? So there are a number of states that are in process right now, and we happen to be one of them. We are not sure if this bill will be seen this year, or if it'll be pushed off until next year, because they're getting so close to the end of the season right now. But we're trying. We're getting there.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pushback from the industry as well, right?
Most likely.
Yeah, which is probably happening right now. What time is it? Someone said.
Well, and I was thinking too that because of the election, you hope that the people who sponsored the bill be reelected.
Yeah, well, like Tracy Catskill is up for real.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that name. I didn't know the others, but
Bonnie had a fantastic idea when I sent this to her about contacting Bob Morgan to see if he would be willing to be a part of this bill as well. So
He and Tracy together have hosted library leadership meetings, one of which I attended a few years ago, and that was when I first met Bob and Julie Morrison and Tracy. All three of them were there again because the two reps make up the same Senate, state Senate. So, you know, he's invested some time in learning about libraries and their needs, and so we'll see.
And he seems like a good egg.
I just sent you a link. It's the website. That's the problem. It's not like a whatever.
Okay,
Yeah, it wasn't like a.
okay.
It's a website issue that they clearly have the wrong link generated from the ILA stuff. So I just sent it to you, and there's a direct one, but they did change their system. It's much savvier now, Bonnie. You'll be happy to see it.
Well, the secret, there were like 350 proponents and 0 opponents, so that's good.
Not gonna make themselves known until they need to take off,
Yeah.
right?
That's how it always goes.
Like, you know, committee meeting is the 18th, so at some point they do cut it off. There with the witness slip, accepting those witness slips, so.
Until the 18th at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
A little less than 48 hours.
It's probably gonna be a tough one, I think, right?
It will.
Unfortunately, because it's so targeted to one particular industry. And it's gonna be a difficult argument to make as much as we would like it to be in our favor, right? That one particular industry can't have its profit margin or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, the private sector argument usually wins in those types of situations. But
We'll see how it goes.
we'll see.
I think it will help that Connecticut has already done it. So there is already precedent that other places have done this. I'm hoping that will help.
And links working yet, so we can, you know, storm the gates, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back to our financial report here. Any other questions, highlights?
Extra separate line item.
Well, yeah, the break. So this is just the financials. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve both the January and February 2026 revenue and expenditure report.
Move.
Thank you, Jill. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Shaul.
Aye.
Trustee Sobolak.
Aye.
Trustee Reidy.
Aye.
Trustee Kearney.
Aye.
And I will also vote aye. Those have been approved. Brain alarms. Okay, next up is the November 2025 through February 2026 check disbursement report. I believe we were on delay because we needed to see.
We have the conversion and we have
Yeah.
problems trying to get that printed and corrected.
So we chose not to approve those at our, last board meeting. So we have a hefty list here.
We do. We have from 16,784 through 16,935.
And noting that like the two biggest were payments to Lake Bluff, Village of Lake Bluff for. Yeah.
The dates on the checks go through March 12th. So is the agenda, is the agenda incorrect then? Approved November 2025 through February 2026?
I can update it to March.
I think
Probably.
the check numbers are.
There's no actual check numbers that are dated March, right? It's just that.
Yeah, they're-
range. That's what the report is pulling from, it. There's nothing in there that's in March yet, right?
There are
We
some.
do you have the ones that are being printed now?
Oh, I'm sorry, but just up to the present.
Yes.
time. Yeah,
Through the 12th.
yeah, okay.
For the interlibrary loan, are those replacement
Yeah.
pass-through charges? So we don't pay until we collect from the patron
We
or.
do. So we have to pay the library back when the library bills us. And then we put a collection fee on the patron's card.
use of donation slash friends in various iterations, that's coming out of restricted funds that have been earmarked for the purposes.
Yes, so when the Friends makes a donation to us, they generally make it to fulfill something that we have requested. So you'll see that pop up anytime that we are purchasing things. Today I've been signing people, staff members up for the ALA conference. That was all funded by the Friends group. So you'll see that at in the next checklist.
And were those donations the North Shore Sign Company, or those related to the AVA
They are.
signs? Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Okay, if there are no other questions, we'd be looking for a motion to approve checks. I want to make sure I got this right. 16784 through 16952.
15935. Right.
16784, you said?
That would be the first, and then 16952
52. I was being dyslexic. I'm
I think I'm gonna.
through 312, which is
Page.
It's just gotta go electronic and then there's no.
16784.
What are the
16784 or 16952.
16784 through 16952.
So move to approve checks numbers 16784 through 16952.
Yes, thank you, trustee Shaw. Looking for a second?
Awesome. Okay, you go.
Second.
Keep going.
Two checks.
Well, that-
Please.
I
forgot.
It's all right. I did the last.
Everyone will get a turn.
Everybody gets a turn.
I'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Shaw. Trustee Sobolak. Trustee Reidy. Trustee Kearney.
Aye.
I'll also vote aye. Okay, go ahead and move on to the next portion, which are two policy updates that we discussed at the last committee of the whole meeting, as well as the two-year budget, which was also discussed at the last committee of the whole. Have there been any changes other than what we discussed? So the first up is the staff AI use policy. So the use of artificial intelligence. Natalie has proactively honed some AI policies to adopt one for the library. It's becoming more and more of a pertinent element of the workplace. So I think we had some minor edits and a fairly robust discussion around how this looks.
I'm so sorry.
You're okay. That looks good to me.
I was thinking exactly the same.
What were the tweaks again that were made?
We took some stuff out. I think
thought
they're
so,
the
right?
paragraph.
Procedural stuff too, I think.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Like how long you had to retain records was one of the things that we.
And we talked about, I think it was the wording around like using it. We did discuss like, do you mark it as this was partially generated by AI or not? And for this use, went with not doing that, but that it must be reviewed by a human before being used. If there are no questions, we'd be looking for a motion to adopt the first Lake Bluff Public Library AI use policy.
So move.
Thank you, trustee Sobolak, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, we'll do a voice vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, excellent. And then next up, we have some collection development policy revisions that have been made. Again, this was reviewed and discussed at the committee of the whole meeting last month.
So I'll just recap the major 2 or 3 changes or updates to this, because this is an update to an existing policy. And just another quick comment. I've seen some places like my employer where they have a revision control section. And it gives a quick overview of what's changed from version. Yeah, 1 to version 2. Sure. Version, like if you're at the eye doctor, it's better 1 or 2, it's better 3 or 4. So I don't know if that's something that, Natalie, I don't know if that's something that most libraries use or not, but I looked for it because I was like, well, that could answer my question, boom, right away. Major changes?
Major changes, one was selection, so like the wording around selection and collection development. There, I think the wording was really nicely adjusted around the staff select based on certain criteria. But essentially, like the last paragraph is like the library is not responsible for like children access materials. And then there was also a 3 a year requests that patrons can make 3 requests per year for purchasing by the library. And then a change over to purchase suggestions. So we cannot be, if we do 3 times 5,000, then
Is there something about you can't keep asking the same book over and over again? Like if you ask that something be purchased and the answer is no, we have to wait a year. For some reason, I thought I saw that somewhere.
in the previous version.
Maybe.
I don't believe it's in this one.
It must have been in the previous version.
And then there is obviously the reference to the Illinois state law in the last section for intellectual freedom.
I forgot to ask, do you actually have the reconsideration form that it asks?
We do.
We had one reconsideration since I've been on the board. Reconsideration request, and then I think we had one that didn't necessarily go through, maybe it did. It was called the Trayvon hoax. You remember this?
I do remember.
Yeah, and it was, but I think it was a staff member who maybe, or a patron alerted the staff, and the staff did their own review, like that they did not fill out a reconsideration form. So I think it didn't formally come through.
I did a meeting, review. That up to on the radar screen of staff and board, I would say.
But it didn't go through the formal reconsideration process because they went. Any other questions or, so Bonnie, those were the summary. But Natalie did a nice job revising the language in here that makes it, I think, stand in line with like the library's values while also being very clear about, the reality of like 3 books per year is not going to happen for each resident. Yeah. Okay, we have no other comments or questions for a motion to approve the collection development policy.
I so move.
Thank you, Trustee Reidy. Any seconds? Trustee Sobolak, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, collection development policy adjustments have been adopted. Next up is the 2-year budget, which is fiscal year 27 and 28. We had reviewed this the last meeting. There were some very minor changes made to that budget. Have any been made since that committee vote?
See this as a
So that's not a printout because it was so long. That was something that was online. We had it in the last, I forgot to print it out for your packet as well. We had it in the last couple of meetings that we've looked at. We had it last year as well. I think in November, we had talked about it when we talked about budgets. It's the fiscal year 27 budget we've looked at numerous times. That hasn't really changed. There's been very minor changes here and there. The fiscal year 28 budget, remember, is kind of a rough draft. We'll still go through the process of looking at that again. This is an approval because we need to approve a 2-year budget for the village, but that fiscal year 28 budget will still get updated and changed as we get closer to fiscal year 28.
And then next year we will submit a 1 year budget, the year after, the 2-year. And we need this action taken because Bettina needs
The budget to, yeah, into BSNE software so that they can do their modeling and everything else. Yes.
Natalie, can you send a copy to the printer for me to take a look at while we're here at the meeting? Yeah, upstairs and get it.
Hard to read it. It's printed out because it's so small. Period. You reference that available. Yes.
It was notice on a recent, it is 3 years ago, sorry. He did some research after seeing the title and found it was a self-published book by someone he in his work was a conspiracy theorist. And noted that he had checked other area libraries and none have that book in their collection.
What's something that we actually had?
It was physical, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So he had talked to the director at the time and the staff who was present about it after doing some research and felt. So in terms of like how it was acquired, I don't think we knew or had information on that.
And there may not have been as built out of a policy as present, right, in terms of how materials are suggested and ultimately acquired.
Totally possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any more detail on it. It was part of a director's report because he didn't fill out a request for reconsideration. It didn't come to the board. So it was the director and the staff who filled it.
We did speak on public comment.
I don't know that he did.
Thank you.
Don't know how readable that's gonna be.
Not terribly. It's actually sharp. It's sharp. It is small, but it's sharp.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like not in draft mode.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
That is an interesting case, though.
Mhm.
You know, 'cause it goes to the heart of what many libraries are facing, you know.
From what I recall, they the folks that had dealt with that particular conversation had not been here during whenever the time period would have been acquired. The director at the time had been in place for I think less than a year. Bonnie, do you want some time with that and we can come back to the 2-year budget?
You mean like move the budget action to a different position on the agenda tonight?
Yes. Or do you feel you need more time with the
Yeah, no, I don't think I need a lot of time. I'm open to
bumping it later?
bumping it to later in the agenda. Yeah, I just wanted to come up with calculations. That was fine with me.
So we will go ahead and move new business item C, the 2-year budget, to after closed session. Okay, we have one more item before we go into closed session. That would be library correspondence and communications, noting comment cards.
We really haven't had very many comment cards the last couple of months, but we do have some really cute posts there that for you guys. Our posting for the little pantry, the little free pantry, have been going really, really well.
I
We-
shared that. It was on my page,
Fantastic.
and I got a whole bunch of people from all over the United States saying, like, I'm gonna go talk to my library about this. So,
I got a lot of texts about it.
yeah.
We're like, did this with our director.
It's awesome. We are trying to take pictures as we go. Jillian reminds us all the time we need to take pictures. We've had, last week, I was sitting in my office while I watched 3 separate people at different times throughout one day bring in grocery bags of items. And I think 2 or 3 days later, most of that had gone. So it comes in just as quickly as it goes out.
So you are getting turnover,
We are very much.
that's good.
And I think there was formula in there. I mean, there was like baby supplies. Is there anything in particular that is like the hot item?
We see a lot of, oddly enough, we had a couple of bags of potatoes that came in. Those went out in like 2 seconds or less.
So I was gonna say, I see the potatoes in the picture.
Yeah,
Especially this
very
week.
fast. That's true.
I didn't see your roots.
That's right, yeah.
You're
Quite
good.
literally, yeah.
We have seen things like that. Canned dog food? No, that has lasted a long time.
That's a long time.
It will. Canned peas and beans tend to stay a long time, like green beans.
Yeah.
But we see other canned things turn over very fast.
Like
Things-
soup and
Soups go, canned meat like tuna and chicken goes, but not very quickly. We see very quick turnover on like rice and spices because those aren't things that you can normally get easily, but they're not terribly expensive. We went to Aldi's and picked up the little dollar spice containers and put a bunch of those out there. They were gone within a day or so. Anything like that, mixes that don't require milk, also boxed milk. Eliza went to the store, the Lake Bluff Women's Club donated money towards the pantry. So we broke that up and we're using that every month to buy additional items. She went to the store and bought some boxed milk, which went really, really quickly. It's all over the board. We have had things like, right now we have toothpaste up there. We've had hairbrushes, toothpaste, toothbrushes. Those go pretty fast. So it's a good variety. Diapers did not go very fast. They stayed, right. We expected them to go very quickly.
yeah.
They didn't. We do occasionally get things that are open, that are donated, or that are expired, that are donated. We pull those when we see them. We don't go through it every day and check that, but we do go through it periodically and check.
I see that there are some, paper grocery bags in the photo.
Yes,
Are you asking people to also drop off any?
if people have them, ideally, it sounds silly, ideally ones with handles.
Yeah.
Because we have a little hook that we can put them on. The rest of them we shove between the bookcase and the wall, which is fine too. But yes, if people have those, we will also take those. We put them out. We have a small surplus that is in my office and we pull those out when we need them.
Mine that doesn't have handles.
Yeah.
I know it might defeat the purpose, but have you looked into any like partnerships with local food banks and things like that? I know sometimes institutions do that and carve out the space, and it's like an ongoing stock effort, so you don't have to worry about expired stuff. I mean, it's kind of like takes the fun out of it a little bit because
It's
it's
kind of gone the other way.
Yeah.
If we get too much of something that's not moving, then we take it and we bring it to a food pantry. Because we know that they can.
But we did talk, my wife's on the board of a diaper charity. So we might do something. I think we still have to do something.
Yeah.
That would be more of a collection sort of effort.
Mhm.
Which I would love to do, and I think that would go over really well. Like,
Yeah,
if we're gonna do it.
She's at the board meeting now, so I'll remind her when I get home.
Yeah, because some of those can be great. I know UIC has a partnership, you know, obviously on a much bigger scale with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So it's basically kind of a space agreement for them. Now we've got the traffic down there at UIC to support that, but sometimes it can be a win-win, and it's more along the lines of the community building kind of stuff that we've been talking about anyway, in terms of the library's stature within, you know, the not-for-profit realm or whatever. So food for thought. But I also like the bootstrap approach too, and I think it builds the staff buy-in, it builds the community buy-in for people that are dropping things off, and maybe that's more the point here, right? Than the other, you know, because anyone can have real estate for these activities to take place, but the library is more of a community focused. So
I believe that many of the food assistance changes go into effect in May. So you can just let us know, do you see more traffic, or maybe on our social media pages, let the community know. If, you know, hey, or need of X, Y, and Z, or hey, there's been more. Or
Yeah, I was supposed to bring something tonight, forgot it.
well, you're on your bike, so you weren't.
No, I drove. My bike has a basket. I could have hauled a couple of boxes of pasta in it.
I have my questions on the budget if you want to get that done. And if everyone's done with the social media.
Fine, we're not there on the agenda yet. No, we got.
Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and after item 10A, we'll go back to 9C. So the 2-year budget for fiscal year 27 and 28. So Bonnie, you wanna go ahead?
Okay, my questions are, so the column, there's budget fiscal year 25-26 budget. And I'm just curious, is that the actual spend, or is that the budget?
No, that's the budget.
Actual, that's the budget. Okay, so then the 9.5 represents the submission.
Yes.
Okay. I guess, you know, for the fiscal year 25-26, if you may recall, you know, the first couple meetings in that fiscal year, I was and still am a bit concerned that we've had to go over budget in 25-26. Representing kind of 2 years in a row where we have dipped into the fund balance for the library. So, you know, as I look at the 26-27 fiscal budget, again, it shows a 9.5% increase that we expect from the village. I guess, do we need to put other controls in place to ensure that we don't dip into the general fund, or I guess I'll just leave my question at that.
So what you'll start seeing in fiscal year 27, fiscal year 28 budgets is money that's put aside in a fund balance line to start putting away. That money helps us if we have overages that come up, like a pipe burst or something like that, right? But it also helps us start building that capital reserve so we're able to do some of these more expensive updates without having that issue in the future. So I think it's twofold, which is really nice, and I'm hoping that takes care of the concern. Our goal with this budget and with the next budget was to make sure that we don't have that problem anymore. We want a financial plan that allows us the flexibility to be able to handle emergencies, but also the ability to put money away. So we are being fiscally responsible. We are creating that capital fund to be able to do those large scale projects.
And just so for everyone's benefit, the amount that's currently estimated or earmarked in the next fiscal year budget for fund balance is $24,000.
It's not great, but it's a start.
It's a start, yeah.
That was where we did the scenario planning with 12%, 15%, 18.5 or something with, if we wanted to really shoot our shot there, but, to build up to what Natalie had suggested being best practice, which would be assuming like 40-ish thousand for repairs each year. Obviously, we don't have, but we have more than previous years.
I think we've talked to. We're part of the village, and the village has guidelines that they use, and it would be nice if we could get the same level that they have, because I think that they, is it 30% of the budget? But yeah,
And we looked at Park District and all of the other municipal entities too, yeah.
And you did your chart bound by mistake. Earlier this week, I was looking for something else that is for, that's what a deal, 2% of the tax bill late book goes to the library. Like 9% going into schools, right? Total of 50% there. So it's what we're talking about here, it's sustainability for operations, right? And controls audience. But as a board, I guess my answer would be the controls are us. At this meeting, every month or whatever, looking at the checks, our hands are tied. So if we've got these emergency situations, we just talked about 144% overages on building maintenance. I want to make sure that microphone picked it up, right? Because if faced with a decision of, okay, we're going to do something to make sure that this building doesn't collapse, I mean, that's kind of one example.
Really, when our roof was put on 10 to 12 years ago, like, and why would it money?
That's right. That's under all the work that Natalie's been doing, and frankly, we've been doing over the past months that I've been involved. I think it's finally getting to a place where there's some options there, but we're not out of the woods. I think that needs to be made clear every meeting that we have here until we have a long-term solution in place. I know we're going to be talking about some of those things, right, in April next month, e.g., leave at our retreat, right? So, but those are good points, and it's important to keep making them, in my personal opinion.
And the other thing I'd want to make sure everyone knows is that for this 2-year project, granted, it's only an estimate, it will be revisited, but there's nothing to go into the general fund and it's that increase. So, yes, we need the decision to make a better retreat will be brought.
Are there any other questions you had on the budget before we move for a vote?
I guess the only thing that's not here is the revenues piece, because it's been and there's the other side of the financial planning for next year, which is interest income, some fees that we collect from. I know it's not a lot, but it was a mess in this year. I think we overestimated interest.
And the year before we went, we got more than we estimated a lot. Remember that? 2 fiscal years ago.
We earned more.
We earned much more.
Yes, we did. Interest earning, it's estimated to be 35 for the whole fiscal year, for full year. And as of the end of February,
We're at 27.
when we dip into the general fund balance, the amount of money earning interest decreases. So it's almost like a double whammy. One whammy's bigger than the other, but
What's the interest rate though?
right now, I think as this stands, if the amount of money we expect from the village from taxes is 1,684,176. Interest income could go to the general fund balance. Can anyone confirm the amount we expect from taxes
From the village for this coming fiscal year.
coming fiscal year?
$1,321,552.
For fiscal year 26-27.
Yes.
Your estimate of 27, or sorry.
That's for 26-27. 1,321.
1,321,552.
And the budget in front of us is 1,684.
Yes. That includes everything, other revenue, yeah.
So that's a $363,000 difference.
That's for the other revenues that would play into.
Right, right. The biggest of which is typically interest income.
So interest income, we are estimating at 35,000, which is, this fiscal year, we are currently in, it's estimated at 33,575. Next year, we dropped it to 35,000. Per capita grant, we left the same, but depending on how the bill that's going through right now goes, that may increase.
And there's non-resident fees. EPRT, the village contribution through the IGA. And restricted and miscellaneous grants and donations that make up that.
But they come to 363.
Yeah.
The grants and donations line, miscellaneous grants and donations line is the biggest in that.
Which, to be fair, is a direct revenue and expenditure. So you'll see the same amount in both places. So if we don't get it, we don't spend it.
Because I'm itemizing the additional revenue.
Library fees would be $1,200.
Okay.
Services for charges would be $7,850. And all of the other things, including grants and village contributions, things like that, ends up being $353,574.
Yeah. Yeah, we're comfortable voting.
I was gonna say the total of $1,684,176.
Any other questions on the budget for fiscal year 27? 26, 27, and 27, 28. Okay, hearing none, we're looking for a motion to approve.
I saw.
Thank you, Trustee Shaw, in a second. Thank you, Trustee Kearney. We'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Shaw. Aye. Trustee Sobolak. Aye. Trustee Reidy. Aye. Trustee Kearney.
Aye.
All right, excellent. So now Bettina can go ahead and enter that. Okay, so we will be moving into executive session pursuant to section 2C1, the appointment of employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body. I would move to enter closed session at 8:06 p.m. on Monday, March 16th. We need to do a second, or can we just move to?
You need to second, and you need to do a roll call vote.
My powers are being so restricted now. So I would be looking for a second to move into executive session. You and A voice vote, yes?
Yeah.
Great, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Okay. So in terms of the final action item for tonight, it would be to move to approve the director's evaluation that was shared with Natalie and trustees. This is just sort of a formal act of acknowledgement, and that we will revisit it in April in another closed session.
I move to recognize trustee Friedeman for her work in collecting and
Yeah.
condensing and setting up the process to simplify the director's evaluation. And I also move to approve.
Thank you, trustee Shaul. And do we have a second to approve the director's evaluation?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Kearney. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and I will also come back that Natalie and I are gonna have some time in April, so she can give feedback on her side of the process, and then we can refine what. So thank you, trustee Shaw. Any other notes? Otherwise, we will need a motion to adjourn at, or I will move to adjourn at 9 p.m. And can we have a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting's adjourned at 9 p.m.
Very good.